I had been meaning to make this video for quite some time, never came around to it, but hey, today you're finally getting it. Keeping it super simple for today's video, gonna be talking about the best prospect from every team in Major League Baseball, gonna tell you what you can expect from them, when they're gonna come up, what kind of impact I think they're gonna make, what kind of player they're gonna be. Some of these guys might play in Major Leagues this year, some of these guys might not play in the Major Leagues for 3 or 4 years. But what always makes prospects exciting is they're the future of your team. They're gonna be the guys that you're rooting for in 3 or 4 years. They're gonna be helping trying to lead you to a World Series, so you might as well know who some of the best guys are in each team as of right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support on the channel. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Who's the best prospect from your favorite team? I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description, always talking baseball over there. And if you want to buy any tickets to any sporting events, make sure to head on over to SeatGeek, use the code Giraffe, save yourself $20 off your first purchase. For today's video, let's get it started off with the Kansas City Royals, and coming in as their best prospect, I've got Bobby Witt Jr., who was drafted last year in the MLB draft. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be a stud. Shortstop, runs well, throws well, hits well, fields well. He is a complete player from what we've seen thus far. He was the number 2 pick last year in the 2019 draft, only 19 years old, 6'1", 190. He's going to be a freak, and he's going to be a great part for that Royals organization in the future. You can expect to see him up around 2022, but he might come up even quicker if he continues to tear up the minors. The best prospect in the Cincinnati Reds organization is going to be Nick Lodolo. Now, I originally thought it was going to be Hunter Green, but Nick Lodolo actually jumps ahead of him right now, and it's because he's probably going to have an impact a little bit sooner. He's a left-handed pitcher, 6'6", 202 pounds. He's got 3 really solid pitches in a fastball, changeup, and slider. Tops out at 96 with a lot of sink. Really good changeup, fools a lot of hitters. And again, he's left-handed. He was drafted in 2019, 7th overall, but his ETA is 2021. Path, he's going to be called up pretty soon by the Cincinnati Reds. Jesus Lizardo, left-handed pitcher for the Oakland A's, is going to be their best prospect. And let me tell you, I'm a huge Jesus Lizardo fan. Drafted all the way back in 2016 by the Nationals, he ended up with the Oakland A's. We saw a little bit of him last year. He has battled injuries quite a bit, having Tommy John surgery, and he really wasn't healthy in the 2019 season. But what really impressed me was his appearance in the 2019 wildcard game against the Rays, where he completely shut down that offense. Great fastball, great slider, great changeup, great curveball. He's a complete pitcher, left-handed again, throws absolute heat. Just need him to stay healthy, and he can make a huge impact for the A's this upcoming season in 2020. The best prospect in the Boston Red Sox organization is recently acquired Jeter Downs from the Dodgers. Jeter Downs is a middle infield prospect, probably more of a second baseman with Bogarts holding down the shortstop position in Boston, but he was drafted in 2017 by the Cincinnati Reds, and he's flying through the minor league system. Probably makes it up to the majors in 2021. Last year in 2019, he hit 24 homers, 35 doubles, 4 triples, and 86 RBIs in the minors, at 362 on base with a 526 slugging. This guy can definitely swing the bat, and the Red Sox got a really good player in him. Yes, you traded Mookie, but Jeter Downs is going to be a pretty good Red Sox for a long time, and you get to say Jeter is in Boston. For the Miami Marlins, very strong farm system, but we're going to go with Sixto Sanchez as their best prospect. They acquired Sixto Sanchez in the trade for JT Realmuto last year from the Philadelphia Phillies, and while he does have some injury problems, he appeared in 20 games last year, 20 starts, 8-6 record with a 2.76 ERA, striking out 103 batters in 114 innings. Sixto throws absolute heat. He's got a 70 grade fastball, 60 grade changeup, and a 55 slider. One thing that does concern me is how he releases the ball. I can see elbow problems down the line. He's already had elbow problems, but if he can stay healthy, he has the stuff to be a really nasty pitcher in baseball. For the Detroit Tigers, they got a lot of young pitching, but the guy who's going to stand out for me is Casey Mize. Casey Mize was the number 1 pick in 2018 out of the University of Auburn by the Tigers, and there's a possibility that he can already find his way into Major League Baseball this upcoming season. Great fastball slider combination, sitting at like 95, 97 miles an hour, filthy slider, but the real pitch is his splitter, which has a 70 grade on MLB pipeline. That is his absolute devastating pitch. Last year in 21 starts in the minors, he pitched in 109.1 innings, 8-3 record, 2.55 ERA, striking out 106 batters, walking only 23, and giving up only 5 home runs. He had a whip under 1. Opponents were hitting just around 200 against him. Casey Mize has some filthy stuff. Just need to get some hitting around him, and then that Tigers pitching staff's gonna look real nice. The Atlanta Braves are another organization loaded with talent, but their number 1 guy, in my opinion, is gonna be Christian Pache. I am a huge Christian Pache fan. I think him and Acuna in the outfield together, and you're gonna throw Drew Waters in at some point too, that's gonna be crazy, crazy good. Pache may not have the power or the hit ability that Ronald Acuna has, but man, can this guy fly, and is he fantastic out in the outfield. Pretty much exactly what you want to have a center fielder. 70 runs, 70 fields, 70 arm grade, 60 overall as a prospect. ETA is 2020. He's on his way up possibly this season. And like I said, even though his hitting is a little bit weak, he still had a 340 on base last year with a 462 slugging, so that's over 800 OPS. 12 homers, 36 doubles, 9 triples, hit 277. He's a really solid player, and I'm not excited to watch him play against the Mets for a long time. Texas Rangers minor league system, not too strong, but they do have one guy that definitely sticks out, and that's going to be Josh Jong. Jong was drafted last year with the 8th overall pick out of Texas Tech, and I watched this guy play during the College World Series. That's really when I first heard about about him, and I was blown away. He's a big dude, 6'2", 215, but he plays a lot bigger than that, and he plays third base pretty well. Now, he doesn't run particularly great, but you have him because of his arm and his power. That's one thing he can definitely do. He can swing the bat. Last year in 44 games in the minors, he hit 2 homers, 14 doubles, and 1 triple with 28 RBIs, a 316 average, 389 on base, 443 slugging. I think you'll see him build into that power a little bit more as he gets comfortable in the minors. Don't expect him to be up this year, but he's on pace for a 2021 arrival. This kid's legit. Now, time for my favorite team, the New York Mets. We traded away one of the best prospects in baseball, but we still have a very solid guy in Ronnie Mauricio. Ronnie Mauricio's only 18 years old, and he's 6'3", 166. You just can't find that size many places. Now, Mauricio is definitely still a work in progress. He needs to fill into his body a little bit more, learn how to hit for some power, but based on all the stuff that we see at the absolute surface at only 18 years old, Mauricio has the makings of possibly becoming a star. In 173 games, he's only hit 7 home runs in his professional baseball career, but 36 doubles, a 270 average, needs to work a little better at the plate, only 306 on base, but again, he's only 18 years old and he's got the size to be someone who can really make an impact. Last year with the Blue Jays, all we heard about was the big three, Guerrero, Bichette, Biggio, but they're no longer prospects, so that crown now goes to Nate Pearson, who is going to be really good. Drafted in 2017 by the Toronto Blue Jays at the end of the first round, he's a starting pitcher who throws absolute heat, like over 100 miles an hour, and he's a starting pitcher. 6'6", 245 pounds, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, great control. He has an overall 65 grade rating on MLB Pipeline. He was pretty disgusting in the minors last year, posting a 2.3 ERA through 25 starts, striking out 119 batters, walking only 27. You can expect to see Nate Pearson up with the Blue Jays at some point in the 2020 season. I think he's going to be an arm that can definitely make an impact for them. Dude just throws heat. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, you already know who this guy's going to be, but we got Gavin Lux as their best prospect. Now, he's definitely going to lose that prospect grade this year because he's slated to be their starting second baseman. For a good reason, though. He's a really solid player. We didn't see too much of him at the major league level last year, only played in 23 games, didn't play at the level that we know he's capable of, but in the minors, he absolutely tore it up. 26 homers, 25 doubles, 8 triples, 76 RBIs, a slugging percentage at 607 with an on-base of 421. Doesn't matter what balls or where they're playing, those numbers are great regardless. Great with the glove, he's a good athlete. I'm really excited to see what Gavin Lux can do in his first full season with the Dodgers. Should be a really good player. For the Chicago Cubs, super weak farm system. Their number one guy, though, is going to be Nico Hoerner, who is technically a shortstop, but obviously with Javi Baez being there, he's probably more likely their second baseman. Hoerner was drafted in 2018, so he's absolutely flown through the minor leagues with the Cubs. He's not going to be a guy who hits a lot of he's not a guy who's going to be hitting a lot of home runs for you. He hit 5 home runs in 89 games in the minors, which, by the way, only 89 games to get the call up. That's impressive. But he's got a really solid glove. He hits for a high average. He's a bit of a scrappy player. He's not going to ever be the best player on your team, but he's definitely going to make an impact, and I expect him to be the second baseman for the Cubs going into the 2020 season. The Arizona Diamondbacks, their best prospect in their system is going to be Christian Robinson. This guy's exciting. Signed in 2017 by the Arizona Diamondbacks, international prospect out of the Bahamas. Robinson is a beast. 6'3", 190 at age 19, signed by the Diamondbacks back in 2017 from the Bahamas. He has the ability to be a scary hitter at the plate. Last year in only 69 games, 255 at-bats in the minor leagues, he hit 14 homers, 13 doubles, and 2 triples, a slugging percentage at 514 with an on-base at 368. Another guy who's not really close to making it up just yet. He's a bit of a work in progress, but let me tell you, if they can tap into that physical ability that he has, he's going to be really good. The Houston Astros, the trash can bangers. They've got a really nice starting pitching prospect in Forrest Whitley, who's going to be the best in their organization. Now, you've probably been hearing about this guy's name for quite some time, drafted in 2016, and it's just been kind of a waiting game as to when he's going to be ready, but it looks like 2020 could finally be that season. So only 22 years old, 6'7", 195, throws absolute heat as you could imagine, sits around 97, 98. He's got a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. He's also got a cutter. He does struggle a bit in the control department, walked 44 batters last year in 59 2/3 innings, but he has some stuff that can make him a very dangerous pitcher at the major league level. He just needs to improve from a terrible 2019 season in the minors where he had a 7.99 ERA. He's got the stuff, just got to straighten it out. The Milwaukee Brewers probably have the worst farm system in baseball. Nobody in the top 100 according to MLB Pipeline, but their best prospect right now in their system is going to be Bryce Tarang, who's a shortstop second baseman. He was drafted back in 2018 in the first round by the Brewers, and last year in the minors he did pretty decent. Hit 256 going between A and high A. 707 OPS isn't something that you're super excited about, but he's only 20 years old. He can run. He's got a nice glove in the field. You just need to see the hitting come around a little bit for him. But Bryce Tarang definitely has the makings of what can be a very good player. The San Francisco Giants' best prospect in their organization is going to be Joey Bart, who some consider to be the best catching prospect in baseball. Depends if you want to count Adly Rushman or not, but we'll talk about him later. As for Joey Bart, he's a really good player. 2018 in the minors was definitely his better season where he had a 588 slugging percentage. Did take a little bit of a step back in 2019, but still from the catcher position with the offensive production that he gives out, not to mention his arm and how he does play the field, Joey Bart can definitely be that next guy to take over the catcher position from Buster Posey, because let's be honest, there's not much more time that he's going to be hanging out around there. In fact, Joey Bart might be on his way up in 2020, maybe towards the end of the season. The big plus for him is that raw power and the size that he has at 6'3", 235. Definitely can be a really strong catcher for the Giants for the future. Speaking of another catching prospect, here's Adley Rushman. Rushman, the best prospect in the Orioles system. Big Adly Rushman fan, made a video about him last year. He's gonna be one of the next stars in baseball. Switch hitting catcher who pretty much does it all. Cannon of an arm, hits from both sides, hits for good power. He's just not very fast, but it doesn't matter because he's a catcher and he's great at everything else. Adly Rushman was the #1 pick in the 2019 draft last season, and he's on his way to probably be called up in 2021 because he's that good. His minor league numbers in 37 games weren't great. 351 on base though was really solid with a 423 slugging percentage. Put that together, nice year. But again, it was only his first season and he only played in 37 games. Expect to see his numbers be really, really good this upcoming year. For what is easily the youngest prospect on this list, we go to the New York Yankees to talk about Jason Dominguez, who's the 17-year-old phenom that's in the top 55 prospects in Major League Baseball. This guy has not even seen a professional pitch yet, and he is considered to be the next great thing. At 17, he is 5'9", 190 pounds. Don't know what factory he was made in, but that's unbelievable. He got $5.1 million from the Yankees out of the DR last July, as much as they could give to anybody. Crazy good power from both sides. He runs really well too. This isn't just a guy who's gonna sit up there and try to hit tanks. He's a complete player, and I'm really interested to see what he'll do in a professional baseball setting, because we still haven't seen him yet like face anything. He has no stats. I'm sure he'll be a beast though. I mean, he's bigger than me and he's what, like 7 years younger? The best prospect from the St. Louis Cardinals organization is gonna be Dylan Carlson, outfielder. Carlson was drafted back in 2016, first round, 6'3", 205. Another one of these dudes who's just big. You can't teach that kind of stuff. He's slated to be on the Major League roster at some point in 2020, maybe even break camp with them, and he would add a nice left-handed power bat to that lineup. Last year in the minors, he hit 26 homers, 28 doubles, and 8 triples with 68 RBIs in just 126 games, 542 slugging, 372 on base. He made a massive stride in the power department last year, where previously his slugging percentage was hovering right around 4, he was way over 5. He's got power from both sides, a lot of great tools. Dylan Carlson's gonna be a fun player to keep an eye on in 2020. All right, Nationals fans, turn away. Your best prospect's Carter Kaboom, and I gotta admit, I'm not huge on this guy, but he definitely is their best in their system. Kaboom is a shortstop by trade, but he's gonna be trying to play maybe a little bit of third base to crack the team this year, because obviously Trey Turner isn't going anywhere. He can definitely hit the ball, it's just a matter of staying consistent. That's usually the biggest problem, and sometimes he's battled injuries. He just hasn't really ever been able to get into the flow of things. Last year he played in 109 games in AAA, 16 homers, 24 doubles, a 409 on base percentage, which is really impressive because obviously that shows patience, understanding of the strike zone, 493 slugging. But then when he came up to the pros in the 11 games that he was in, he looked a bit overmatched. I'm interested to watch him during spring to see what improvements he's made. I think he definitely can be a solid player. It's just I don't know if he's the answer for filling in for Anthony Rendon. Sorry, Nats fans, I don't want to be negative. The Pittsburgh Pirates. They gave away a lot of prospects to get Chris Archer, but one that they kept was Mitch Keller, and Mitch Keller looks like he's going to be a nice piece for them in their rotation this year. Mitch Keller was drafted all the way back in 2014 by the Pirates, and 6 years later, it looks like he's going to be able to crack that starting rotation opening day. Plus fastball, just over 95 miles an hour. Nice slider, nice curveball, changeup combination. He didn't do great in the majors last year in his 11 starts, a 7.13 ERA, but in the minors, he's shown with his track record that he can be a very solid pitcher. I think the whole new vibe and culture in Pittsburgh is really going to help him out, change the way he pitches a little bit, maybe a little bit smarter, and I expect him to be a player that you might want to watch in 2020. I like a lot of what Mitch Keller does. For the Philadelphia Phillies, their top prospect in their organization is going to be Alec Boehm, who's the third baseman slash first baseman, but I think has an outside shot to be the starting third baseman opening day. They definitely have a hole there. Boehm was drafted with the 3rd overall pick in the 2018 draft, and he has had quite the start to his minor league career. Now, speed-wise, doesn't have much, but what he can do is absolutely rake at the plate, and it makes sense. I mean, he's 6'5", 225. That's a pretty strong human. Last year in 125 games, he hit 21 homers, 30 doubles, and 4 triples with 80 RBIs, 378 on base, which you love to see in a 518 slugging. That's a combination for what looks to be a great player. Another one of these guys that's probably going to haunt my dreams for a very long time. The LA Angels' best prospect, Jo Adell, not many guys who get me as excited as him. To me, he just seems like another Mike Trout type of scenario. Now, I don't think he will be as good as Mike Trout. Let's just put that out there. Mike Trout's going to be one of the best of all time. But Jo Adell has a lot of very similar things that can make him be one of the top outfielders in baseball at some point in his career. First off, freak athlete. Runs well, throws well, fields well. And then at the plate, yes, he can swing and miss a little bit too much, but that's with his age. He's only 20 years old. He has some crazy, silly pop though in his bat. 6'3", 215, drafted in 2017, and he's got a legitimate shot to be the starting outfielder in 2020 on opening day. Now, last year in the minors, he did struggle a little bit with injuries and some consistency, but the previous 2 seasons, and honestly for his 3-year career in the minors, he has a 518 slugging with a 361 on base. Can strike out a little bit too much, but you see him at the plate and you think this guy has the potential to hit the ball out of the stadium every single time. He's just that good. The Cleveland Indians, their best prospect's gonna be Nolan Jones, third baseman who was in AA last season. Nolan Jones hasn't put up any eye-popping numbers in the minor leagues just yet. He has the potential to though. Very nice left-handed swing, big dude at the plate, has a 60 power grade and a 60 arm grade. It's just some of the other spots in his game are a little bit weaker than others, but still as a 2nd round pick, 55th overall back in 2016, his game has vastly improved since then. I don't know what kind of impact he'll make in 2020 just yet, but you can expect to see this guy up in the near future for the Indians at some point. For the Tampa Bay Rays, it's very obvious. They have the #1 prospect in baseball, that's Wander Franco. Franco, who might be even more hyped up than Vlad Jr. was last year. Wander Franco's only 18 years old, and he could probably start at shortstop for some teams today. He's that good. Now, realistically, we'll probably see him in 2021. The Rays have no reason to really rush him up, and he only played as high as A+ ball last year, but he absolutely raked. Last year on the season, he hit .327 with a .398 on base, .487 slugging, 9 homers, 27 doubles, 7 triples, 53 RBIs. He steals bases too, 18 stolen bases, plays a pretty decent shortstop. I mean, he's not going to win any Gold Glove awards, but the amount of pop and the hit grade that this guy has is scary and just only adds on to what makes the Tampa Bay Rays one of the best organizations in baseball. They find talent anywhere. Stud. Another very hyped up prospect is going to be Mckenzie Gore, who slots in as the best prospect in the Padres organization, taking over that crown from Fernando Tatis Jr. Mckenzie Gore seems to be the prized possession pitcher in all of baseball right now as a prospect. Everybody wants him, and wisely, the Padres are not willing to give him up. I mean, he is the #1 pitching prospect in the game. Left-handed starting pitcher, throws in the mid-90s, has a devastating curveball, slider, and changeup for his off-speed pitches. In 20 starts last year, he had a 1.69 ERA, nice. In 101 innings, struck out 135, walking only 28. He had a whip at .83. That's just stuff you don't see from a pitcher at 21 years old. Usually they got some kind of walk issue or they're not striking out as many guys. No, Mckenzie Gore pretty much does it all. And yeah, definitely an outside shot to make the team in 2020. He's just that good. He can make an impact right now. The Colorado Rockies farm system isn't the best, and they've really been waiting for Brendan Rodgers to kind of break out and shine. He's been their best prospect in their organization for what feels like a few years now, and while he has battled some injuries, when he did get some time at the major league level, he never really broke out or shined, but I think that he definitely has the ability to do so. Drafted all the way back in 2015 with the 3rd overall pick, he's now 23 years old, so it's pretty much time for him to start making an impact, and in a lineup where he has so much protection, I feel like it's a really good scenario for him. He keeps tearing up AAA, but hasn't proved it yet at the major league level, so he's kind of stuck in between, but I think he'll figure it out. He's too good of a player not to. For the Chicago White Sox, the choice is obvious, and that's Luis Robert. I don't know what to call him. I'm gonna call him Luis Robert, because that's what they sound like when they say it on TV. But Robert is a freak, and I mean that in the best way possible. White Sox grabbed him back in 2017 with international spending money, gave him a ton of money, $26 million bonus, and then they paid him this offseason, which basically means he's gonna be on the major league roster to start the season. At 6'3", 185, this guy doesn't really play like it, well, except for when he's just absolutely hitting tanks, because he absolutely flies around the bases as well. Last year in the minors, he hit 32 homers with 31 doubles and 11 triples, driving in 92 RBIs in 122 games. A .328 average with a .376 on base, .624 slugging. Oh yeah, and he stole 36 bases. The speed, the power, that's like Ronald Acuna type stuff. I can't wait to watch this guy play. For the penultimate player, I've got Royce Lewis of the Minnesota Twins. Royce Lewis, #1 overall pick back in 2017. Shocker, he's a stud. Only 20 years old, 6'2", 200, plays shortstop, really good shortstop as well. But what's great about him is that he can hit and he can fly around the base paths. Now last year he did have a bit of a step back. His numbers weren't as good as the previous years, a .236 average with a .290 on base, but he has shown in the past that he has the ability to be patient at the plate. He has the ability to hit for a high average, and he's still stealing bases. Just gotta put the ball in play a little bit more. Struck out a lot last year. Royce Lewis isn't ready yet to be at the major league level, but I can expect in a couple seasons that he's gonna be probably the shortstop for the Twins, or at least breaking close to it. And then last but certainly not least, we got the Seattle Mariners. I did this on purpose because I didn't want to talk about him. Jarred Kelenic, who should be a Mets prospect, but we traded him for Robinson Cano. Yeah. So Jarred Kelenic's really good. Drafted in 2018, 6th overall by the Mets. 20 years old, and there's a good chance that he can maybe crack the majors at the end of the year with a strong minors to start the year, or he's just going to be the opening day starter in 2021. One of those outcomes, because he's unbelievably good. He can hit, he can throw, he can run, he can field. He's a 5-tool player, and he showed that last year. In 117 games, he hit 23 homers, 31 doubles, and 5 triples to give him 68 RBIs. A .291 batting average with a .364 on base, .540 slugging. Only struck out 111 times compared to 50 walks. That's a pretty decent ratio for nowadays, and he stole 20 bases. It's gonna make me very sad to watch this guy absolutely tear it up in Seattle, knowing what we could have had as a Mets fan, because seriously, like this guy, he's got star quality. He's going to be incredibly good. I'd almost say he's a can't miss kind of player. So that's the best prospect from every single team in Major League Baseball. I would love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that someone was snubbed from the list? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. Like 50% of you who watch this channel aren't subscribed. Click the sub button, join the team. Got a lot of different content coming at you as we get closer and closer to the season here. Gonna be in Arizona from Thursday all the way to next Wednesday, so we have so much more spring training stuff coming your way as well. A lot of really exciting things coming in the next few weeks, and then it's time for regular season baseball. Can't wait. Gonna wrap up the video there for today. You guys know the drill. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate you, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.